Hi friends, I'm Miss J. Welcome to Learn at Home Kindergarten. It's so good to see you today. I hope you're having a sunny day. Wonderful! Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to read a story about something called empathy. And empathy is a character trait that we learn about at school. And empathy really means trying to feel and understand what your friend is feeling. And you might want to try and make them feel better. So empathy is about trying to be with your friend while they're feeling sad. And that really helps them to feel better. This story is about a little girl named Holly. And Holly has a hole. This story was written by Jocelyn, Jagolino. And that's me, Miss J. Here we go. Holly has a hole. Let's look at the cover. It looks like there's a little hole in the middle of her tiny tummy. Can you see that? Holly has a hole. Let's see. One rumbly, rainy morning, Holly woke up, looked into her bathroom mirror, and noticed a very strange thing. Right in the center of her teeny tiny tummy was a hole. "How strange indeed," said Holly. "I don't remember putting a hole there." Well, that's a very strange thing to wake up to, isn't it? "Look, I have a hole," said Holly at the breakfast table. "What should I do?" Her biggest brother Sam cried, "Fill it up with jam!" And that's exactly what they did. Holly and her biggest brother Sam tried to fill the hole with jam. But the hole was still there. And Holly noticed that she was feeling a little empty inside even after all that jam. Maybe the hole needed some air, Holly thought. And she decided to go for a walk. "Look, I have a hole," said Holly to her busy neighbor. "What should I do?" Daring Mr. DeSaint tried to fill the hole with paint. Oh, and that's exactly what they did. Holly and Mr. DeSaint tried to fill the hole with paint. I think the words Mr. DeSaint and paint rhyme. Let's see. DeSaint, paint. They sound almost the same. But the hole was still there. And Holly noticed that she certainly was feeling empty inside, even after all that paint. Maybe the hole needed something from the hardware store, Holly thought. And a hardware store is a place you might go to, like Home Depot or Canadian Tire. "I have a hole," Holly said to the carpenter behind the counter. "What should I do?" Old Mrs. O'Poole yelled, "Fill it up with tools." And that's exactly what they did. Holly and Mrs. O'Poole tried to fill the hole with tools. Now you're getting the rhyming pattern, friends. Good work. What do you think happened? Do you think it worked? But the hole was still there. Oops. And Holly noticed that she was feeling sad even after all those tools. Maybe the hole needed something from the library, Holly thought. I wonder what they could fill the hole with at the library. Let's see. Ooh, this is interesting. whispered Holly to the librarian. "What should I do?" Cheery Mr. Chinook said, "Fill it up with books." And that's exactly what they did. Holly and Mr. Chinook tried to fill the hole with books. But the hole was still there. And Holly noticed that she was feeling quite sad even after all those books. Holly sighed. Maybe the hole needed something from the park, she thought. I wonder what Holly might put inside the hole at the park. "Look! I have a hole!" Holly shouted to the coach on the field. "What should I do?" Muscular Ms. McNalls cried, "Fill it up with balls!" And that's exactly what they did. Holly and Ms. McNalls tried to fill the hole with balls. Do you think it worked? Let's find out, friends. But the hole was still there. Oh dear. Look at Holly's face. How do you think she's feeling? Holly was feeling very sad now, even after all those balls. Maybe her teacher might be able to help, Holly thought. After all, teachers do know about many things. That might be a good way to solve the problem, is to talk to her teacher. Let's find out, friends. "Look, I have a hole," Holly cried to her teacher. "What should I do?" Mrs. Broadfoot, her teacher, asked, "Well, what have you tried, Holly?" "First, me and my brother Sam, we tried to fill the hole with jam. Next, me and Mr. DeSaint tried to fill the hole with paint. Then old Mrs. O'Poole said to fill the hole with tools. Oh, and I can't forget Mr. Chinook. We tried to fill the hole with books. And dear Miss McNalls, we tried to fill the hole with balls." "But the hole is still there," cried Holly, who was almost in tears, "and I feel very, very sad." Oh, poor Holly. I feel kind of sad for her. She tried all those things and she couldn't feel better. Well, bold Mrs. Broadfoot sat down quietly. "Can you remember when you started feeling so sad, Holly?" After thinking hard, Holly remembered that she'd gone to bed last night feeling sad about something, and the more Holly talked, the more she remembered. And then the strangest thing began to happen. Holly's hole began to shrink. And the more Holly talked about her feelings and the more Mrs. Broadfoot listened, the smaller the hole became. Holly didn't seem to notice. She was so busy talking about her feelings, and Mrs. Broadfoot was very busy listening. Holly's hole got smaller and smaller and smaller, and Holly began to feel better and better and better. When Holly had finally finished talking and Mrs. Broadfoot had finished listening, the hole at the center of Holly's teeny tiny tummy had disappeared. Wow, friends, it's gone. And look at Holly's face. How do you think she's feeling now? Amazing. "Look, I don't have a hole," shouted Holly with joy. "Well, let's fill up with ice cream," said Mrs. Broadfoot. And that's exactly what they did. Wow. That's a lot of ice cream. The end. And that's the story called Holly Has a Hole by Jocelyn Jagolino. Thanks so much for joining me today, friends. I hope you really like that story. I sure did. And I really loved how Holly got a chance to make her hole disappear in her tummy and feel better after Mrs. Broadfoot listened to her. That's what empathy is all about. Just listening to someone makes them feel a little bit better, and it lets them know that you're with them when they're feeling a little bit sad. From my heart to your home, I'm Miss J. Thanks for joining me at Learn at Home Kindergarten. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.